It's fun and challenging. There are a lot more dragons in this one, and so as the person who's in charge of coming up with vocalizations and other sounds for these dragons to make, it's a huge challenge, not only because of the sheer numbers of dragons, but because there are so many varieties of dragons. Each of them has to have, his or her own voice. Each species has to have a specific sound. So it's tough, but it's fun. I think of the dragons as if they were actors, as if they were, playing characters, and each dragon has its own set of emotions, in a given scene in the movie. And so in a way, I'm really kind of casting, sounds for them to make, and we always want them to sound like real creatures. So we're not at a point in the history of technology where we can electronically synthesize, believable, naturalistic, organic, dragon vocalizations. So we really need to depend on going out in the field and recording real animals. So we record elephants and camels and seals and just about every kind of animal you can think of for the full range of performances that we need the dragons to make. I wind up doing a few of the vocalizations myself, and Al Nelson, another sound designer on the film, also does some because there just turn out to be a few sounds that we can't get out of any animal, no matter how hard we try. So we try our best to sound like dragons ourselves, and that's tricky too because it's hard for a human not to sound like a human. So we listen to that kind of tiger sound that just preceded the sound that we're going to need to make as humans, and then we try to begin the dragon sentence with, a snarl or a growl or something that sounds a little like a tiger, but then go into the whimper or whatever it is that we need a human for. Every single wing flap in the film is recorded and edited separately. There's no such thing as getting a whole dragon performance with the wings in one take. And the whooshes are typically made by putting a tree limb or some other kind of complicated thing that has lots of prongs on it on the end of a pole and whooshing it around through the air. And each little twig, if it's a tree limb, will generate a certain little whistle or a certain kind of tonal sound as the air moves across it that makes a nice complex kind of musical sound for the dragon swooshing by. A battle scene, almost any battle scene, is very complicated to work out sonically. Because if you're not careful, you'll be hearing too many sounds at the same time and it'll just be confusing. So the trick is to design the sounds and then to mix the sounds in such a way that you're focusing sound-wise from moment to moment on a sound or a different set of sounds. And if you change that sonic focus gracefully enough, the audience gets the sense that they're hearing everything. One of the reasons I love working on animated films is that they have to take sound very seriously. The way that animated films begin, the way that you start working on an animated film, is with storyboards, which are just drawings that don't move. And in order to begin to see whether a scene is going to work or not, you really need, once you have those storyboards, you need sound design and you need music in addition to actors' voices to begin experimenting with a scene and see if it's going to play, see if it's funny, see if it's exciting. And so right away, even before real animation has begun, the filmmakers desperately need sound design. And here I am.